Hey y'all, welcome back to this week's episode of AMA Friday with Amy Miller, recruiting in yoga pants. So I want to talk about advocacy and specifically what it means as a recruiter to be an advocate for your candidates and your job seekers. So there are, I think, three key areas or three touch points throughout the recruiting life cycle where a recruiter really has an opportunity to wield some influence and to kind of stand up to bad practices and really be on the side of the job seeker. I saw earlier this week, which kind of set me off if I'm being honest, but I saw a comment on, some bad press that's going around about recruiting this week. And there was some discussion about it because of course there is, because recruiters are just big mouths. Anyway, but someone made a comment about, as a corporate recruiter, your job is to advocate for the company. Oh, really? Because the company is like the, weaker party here. The company is the one that needs someone to stand up on their behalf and protect them. Shut up. Look, and I say this with all the love and affection in the world because I love my job and my company and my peers and my hiring managers. Y'all gonna be okay. You were fine before I got here. You'll be fine if I leave. I will follow your rules. I will follow your processes. I will do the right thing. But advocate for you over the candidate? Y'all, we need to talk about this. So that's what we're gonna do right now. There are three areas that I think a recruiter can have the most impact and influence on a candidate's journey. And we're gonna go through each of them step by step. Number one, at the resume review stage. So this is often that first chance, that first impression, right? Where whether you've applied, whether you have, been found, one of my sourcing partners went out and dragged you kicking and screaming off of LinkedIn or whatever. But at some point, we've now come to this decision that, hey, this is somebody I want to put in front of my hiring manager. A lot of times that includes, hey, we're going to make sure that there's a fit here. You meet the basic qualifications. I've beat that dead horse 87,000 times. But we're looking to gain as much clarity and information. And a lot of times we may even have a conversation with you first before we move to actually put you in front of the hiring manager, because that is our opportunity to advocate for you. That is our opportunity to say, hey, hiring manager, check out this person's resume. Here's the reasons why I think they would be a fit. Here's what we talked about. Here's what I learned about them. Here's what I know from their resume, whatever it is. I think we should talk to this person for these reasons. Not always going to be yes. Sometimes we take chances. Sometimes we advocate for people who might be a long shot, just in case. Hey, we want to give people a chance. We try to screen in, not screen out, right? So I understand it's not always going to be a yes, but the right way to do it, in my not so humble opinion, is to advocate for those people, to push those conversations, to ask a lot of questions, and to unpack why not this person if it's a no, okay? That enables us to gain the knowledge and the insight and the calibration of what that hiring manager is looking for so that we can advocate better for the next person, okay? So that's step one, advocating at the initial submission resume review stage. The second time we have an opportunity to do this is during the interview process. So we've gotten you in front of the right manager. We've agreed that there's a good fit here. You've had an initial role-related or technical conversation that has justified, yep, we agree this person's somebody we should learn more about, and move to the interview process. Now you're about to sit for a test. Okay, and I use this analogy a lot when I'm doing interview prep calls. I will tell candidates, look, you could be the best mathematician on the planet. Now you got to go prove it. Yeah, 2 + 2 = 4. We all know that, right? But can you explain those concepts, and can you provide data, or whatever the interview process might look like? Can you package it in a way that the people who are interviewing you and will ultimately be making the higher decision understand it and see your skills, strengths, and superpowers and how they relate to the role? My job is to advocate for you during that process by helping you prepare, by sending you prep materials, by walking through the process with you, making sure that you understand, hey, it's going to last this long and it's going to happen in this time frame, and follow-up is going to be in this many days. Like, that's my job, is to help you be as prepared as possible. Here's things you should study up on. Here's things you can expect to be asked about. That is me advocating for you, my candidate. And if a recruiter is not taking those steps, I have concerns. Okay? I am working, they're not ready yet, but I am working on interview FAQs. Those will be added to the website, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. This is a topic we've obviously covered a lot, but I am also creating a one-pager around that I hope will be helpful. So stay tuned for that. But again, that is an opportunity for the recruiter to provide additional support, insight, and advocacy to help job seekers succeed, or applicants, candidates succeed in that process. The third time that a recruiter has an opportunity to advocate for you, this should come as no surprise, at the offer stage. I want to be really clear. I do not personally know, to the best of my knowledge, nor have I worked directly with, to the best of my knowledge, a recruiter who would intentionally lowball a candidate. I recognize that that may be hard to believe. I understand that that sounds naive, and I am willing to concede, as much as it pains me, that there may be recruiters who do not take their role as an advocate, particularly at offer stage, seriously. That's possible. There are also, and this is important, there are also recruiters, I'm sure of it, who do not feel empowered to have those difficult conversations, or to push back, or to make noise. Okay, I when God was handing, mess around and find out energy, he must have spilled the whole cup on me, because I have a lot of it. Okay, I wish somebody would. That's kind of my I'm working on it. I'm trying. Closer I get to 50, the more I'm trying to be like a kinder, gentler Amy, and I'm just getting older and crankier. I know this about me, it's a toxic trait, but here we are. I understand not every recruiter has that privilege. Okay? So, very quick sidebar to recruiters who might be watching. If you are struggling with this, if you are not sure how to stand up to your bosses and leaders, if you are curious about how you can build that muscle, call me. I am working on some recruiter training as well. We will get to that in a future blog post or something. But know that I'm working on this, because I think there's a gap here. I'm looking at you, recruiting managers. Get it together. Help your people. Okay. Advocacy. I believe it is our job to make fair and equitable offers. I understand that there are many moving pieces to that, and this is what I want job seekers to understand, which sometimes is not always as clear. Offers are generally not created in a vacuum. They are usually not a simple, the recruiter pulls a number out of their ass and that's your offer and off it goes. There is almost always, to the best of my knowledge, an approval process. There is a range that we are starting with. We then make a proposal. within that range based on a variety of factors, based on interview feedback, based on maybe internal equity. Where does this person potentially slot into? If I've got 5 engineers on the team and 2 of them are superstars, they should be probably at the higher end of the range. And if, the new person coming in is kind of a, middle of the range and we expect them to perform well, but kind of middle of the pack, then they're probably going to get a middle of the pack kind of offer, right? So we look at all of those things. Compensation is always, well, I shouldn't say always and never are bad words in recruiting, but compensation is usually involved on some level. HR might need to approve it. Your leadership chain may go pretty high up. It depends. Like so many things in recruiting, it depends. But I do need you to understand that these things generally do not happen with the recruiter alone, but the recruiter does have, in my opinion, the responsibility of navigating these waters and being the voice for the candidate who is not in that room speaking up for themselves. I can only talk to my recruiter about my comp expectations. I'm not getting on the phone with the comp analyst. I'm probably not even going to talk to the manager about it, because a lot of times managers aren't that involved in the offer process, believe it or not. We'll talk about that another time, particularly at Google. My managers never even knew what their people were making. I wasn't allowed to tell them. It was very strange. Anyway, the recruiter is the one with the seat in that room, and the recruiter is the one that needs to do the right thing for both sides. Yes, we have a responsibility to follow our company guidelines, best practices, what have you, but I'll be damned if I'm not also going to expend the same energy doing the right thing for my candidates. And recruiters, for those of you who are watching, if you do not feel safe in having these conversations, if you are concerned about the fallout of advocating for your candidates, I am begging you, please reach out to me. Let's have a conversation about it, because I want to help you. I want to support you. And my job seekers, y'all know I love you. That's why I spend so much time making these videos every week. If you are unsure of what advocacy looks like, let's talk about it, okay? Think about those 3 steps, okay? At the resume review stage, did this recruiter walk through my background with me? Did they ask me questions? Did they understand? Did I provide the right information to them? Those are questions you can ask yourself, because you got to be your own advocate too. At the interview prep stage, is my recruiter answering questions that I might have? Is my recruiter giving me information? Are they providing insight? Are they directing me to, their website or trainings or guidelines that I can leverage to interview the best I can? And then at the offer stage, does my recruiter care about my expectations? Is my recruiter being transparent with me about what compensation might look like? Are they sharing a range? Are they sharing a minimum? Are they giving me something to work with? It should be a 2-way conversation at each step of the process, and you deserve a recruiter who is willing to be your advocate. And recruiters, you deserve an opportunity to be an advocate for your candidates. All right, that's all I've got, y'all. I'm gonna stop there before I start swearing. Just know I love you. Recruiting Yoga Pants is here to support you. Keep an eye out for 2 things: interview prep FAQs and some cool stuff we have in the works for some recruiter training. All right, see you next week.